Morning everyone. Today is Wednesday, November 4, 2015. I'm in Brisbane. So today I leave to head to the west, and my aim is to go almost straight through the middle of Australia. But it's been raining out in Western Queensland for the first time in 7 years. The 7-year drought broke just 3 days ago. Just I'm about to go out there. A lifelong ambition to travel some of these outback Queensland tracks. It might be in jeopardy, but at the same time I'll go out there and give it a go. I'll have a look. I'll get to the end of the black top and make a decision when we get out there. Cattle right on the roadside, just about to cross it. Yep. Case in point. Dear me. This is Infracoombe, and that was the well-shot pub established 1890. And this is about 25 to 30 kilometres east of Longreach. Looks like it should be cold out there, doesn't it? But it's about 38 degrees. Oh yeah, look at all these trucks on me on the right hand side. Nice one. When the Australian author Evan Green drove in here in 1965, in his book Journeys to Jelly Jack, he said the first thing you see is the water tower. Well, this is the birthplace of Qantas, and these days that's the first thing you see. The 747. Geez, I tell you what, I've never been able to drive this close up to a 747. Have a look at that. City of Bunbury. This is a bit of a map as to where I've come from and where we are up here at Longreach. That's actually the comparing times between a coach and a plane back in the 1920s. It doesn't look too comfortable, does it? But the thing about it was that if you took a plane, you were taking your life in your own hands. Mind you, you might fall off that too. The Cobb & Co motor coach setting off from Longreach. Have a look at this. I would have been absolutely packing shit. It's only about a metre and a bit wide, I reckon. And I'm sitting in the middle of 3 seats, so I'm taking up 2 seats, being a big bastard. Holy moly. You just wouldn't have got me to do it, simple as that. That's the toilet in there, and the other, after that of course is the cabin, the cockpit, shall I say. Jesus, they had some balls back in the day. Well, a bit disappointed. The entry fee didn't include getting into this yard with the DC-9 and the 707, the Canberra over the back. Let alone this baby. Given by Qantas to the museum in 2001, $250 million. City of Bunbury 747-400, 1979 model. It was landed here. I just saw the video, and will rest here forevermore. Everything's big out here in central Queensland. The Stockman's Hall of Fame is no exception. RFDS. That's an actual Cessna hanging from the roof. No wonder they need the space in here. It's an impressive setup, and it'd want to be for $32. Ah yes, the legendary John Flynn. Well, legend doesn't, it's not a strong enough word for the bloke. Father of the Flying Doctor. Here's another map of Aussie with all the stock routes. Just remind myself how far I've got to go. I'm here. And I've got to go all the way through, basically to there. That's if the road's dry, and it should be, looking at weather forecasts. Unsealed road, and then through Ayres Rocks about here, through there, through the Great Central Road. Just back home. It's a long way. Back onto the main drag. Forecast top of 37 today. I'm not spending a lot of time out there, but I'm getting used to it when I am.
From a South Australian point of view, WA at 3 for 54 after 22 over Chadwick.
Thank you, Longreach. It's been fun. Really enjoyed it. (1 PM) Friday, November 6th, I think it is. Halfway between Longreach and Winton. That is to say, about 90 kilometres east of Winton. The road is long, the land is featureless, and there's the odd sheep wandering around near the road just to keep me on my toes.
Through to Peter Neville. Yeah, that means they're standing deep there in the slip quarters. And I wonder what pace he can get up to. Do you see that?
Love it. Not that one in the middle though. Yet another old FC Holden. God, I tell you, if I had $1 for every one of them I saw lying around the countryside on this trip. That's lovely. I'm glad that's outside on the mirror rather than in here with me. The North Gregory Hotel. Australian hotel on the other side of the road, which is on the western side. Found this interesting, just offline. I've had to, even though the road's been widened, the truck or whoever it is has gone offline there and just sunk. Look at all this water up here. That's how much rain there's been around in the last week or so. Looks like it's running to me. But it is running. But I'm going to be in there. I'm going to be off road as of sort of midday tomorrow. So keep baking down, son. Keep baking down. Ride things out for me. Coming up to the Diamantina, one of the famous rivers of Australia. This is the floodway for it. So I should imagine earlier this week there was a bit of water around here. You'd think. Let's have a look. Have a look to see. Oh yeah. Look at that. She sure is a lonely old road to Boulia. Another dead old Holden. This is the Hamilton River. I was going to say that it's been pretty dry the last 100 k's, 150 k's. Damper there. There used to be a hotel up here, the Hamilton Hotel. And where are we? 50 years ago this month, Evan Green and Gelignite Jack Murray did a crossroads trip of Australia. That's what they did. Right. Now I read this book in 1993 and I'm basically the trip from Longreach to Alice Springs. I'm basically following their route. Anyway, Evan Green writes quite eloquently in that book about calling into the Hamilton Hotel here early one morning on that trip. They left Longreach at 1 AM because they wanted to travel in the cool of the night. They were in an Austin 1800 and a Mini, and they got to Winton and then out here to the Hamilton Hotel. So I'll see what's there now. There was no air conditioning in their vehicles and they were very, very hot. And Jack Murray in particular wasn't feeling well. So they went and got some lemonades and took them out onto the front veranda to have a look at the area. The only things living here now are the cows. Oh, bugging me, that's all that's left of it. The road was only sealed in 1996. Because in 1965, that's what they were talking about the whole time, was the fact that the road was unsealed. It was gravel the whole way. That was the other thing I failed to mention. Was not only no aircon, pillars of Cobb and Co 7. I assume it's the pub. Yeah, the road wasn't sealed or anything like that, so they were doing it tough. Not like the early settlers tough. Tough all the same. Yeah, so Evan Green wrote that the woman in there, when they pulled up, she was surprised to see them because generally there's no one out here in November. I can believe it, it's too bloody hot. But he and Jolly Night Jack walked out into the veranda having got their lemonades and looked at each other and looked around and went, what is it about this place that people come out here and live? But, and Jack said, well, whatever it is, they all seem to like it. It's got something. I just couldn't figure out what. Boulia, November 7, a Saturday. This is where I stayed last night at the Desert Sands Hotel. This 1975 Lincoln Continental belongs to John, the owner. Good bloke. Great car. Want one. Want one bad. The army's come for a look. Boulia today. $1.60 for diesel. Goodness me. Lucky I don't need any, although I'm going to before I hit the OUTBACK stuff, the proper OUTBACK stuff. Boulia is Burke and Wills country. The failed explorers came this way. And indeed this river here is named the Burke River, and such was the ego of the man, he named it himself after himself. And the reason they failed, one of the reasons was anyway, is because of the land was the quagmire. It's hard to imagine at the moment, we're looking at it like this, bit of water there, but yeah, the torrential rains they had just made the place impassable, almost. Big open spaces. There's a bit of an artesian bore very close to here, hence the green grass. The Australian hotel, it's been there for a long time. That's depicted in the book Journeys to Jelly Night Jack. That's where Jelly Night Jack Murray had to recuperate, having got ill on the road through heat exhaustion. Love it. Dajarra, or Dajarra, that's me. Farewell, Boulia. See you next time. Now this is the entrance to the Donahue Highway, 7 kilometres from town. Now that would be the most direct way for me to go. But as I explained yesterday, I've always wanted to go to Urandangi, because that's where Evan Green and Jelly Knight Jack went in the book. And they described it very eloquently, so that's where I'm going.
Brewery, 26.9.
Lovely.
Smith 25, Lauren Lee's 23.
That's the right idea. Oh, look at that, a bit of water.
Group of New Zealanders, but Watson clearly 46 for average against it. 185 for 5. Glorious day here in Brisbane. What's it like in Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval?
Hour and a half later, this is Dajarra. This is the roadhouse of. See what fuel's going to be here. I reckon it'll be cheap. Fuel was $1.67.9, which I can't complain about. And this is Dajarra main drag. There was a young English lass there out here on a work visa. Said she got the job through Gumtree. Her and her boyfriend were there, and they got 2 weeks left. They've been here for 3 months. And the older guy, the owner of the survey, was quite talkative. Gave me some advice. He reckons, oh, I know the road's pretty good for plenty. So that was good. So now we've got to find the road to Urandangi. He said, you wouldn't be coming through this way that often? I said, no. I said, but you never know, I might be back. And he goes, I'll make note of that. Hell of a nice bloke. Well, 35 k's up the road. It's time to get off the blacktop and head for Urandangi. Mount Ayres is 119 kilometres to the north that way, but we're not going there. We head west. Well, I just stopped to do my tyre pressures. Took advantage of a tree to do it in the shade. I don't know what this river is called. This is a station country road. It'll be in the book, I'll have a look. Pretty dry around here. Next stop, Urandangi. 285041 is the odometer reading. That means exactly 2,000 kilometres since I left Darna's on Wednesday, today being Saturday. The famous old Urandangi pub, run 50 years ago by Jack Slater. Pam inside has confirmed that the story in Evan Green's book is correct. Jack Slater was an American, and his wife was here for years and years and years after he moved on or passed away. They really don't know which one. All good, all good. This is the museum here in the pub. Pam's got a sense of humour. And that's Pam over the back and all the crew here on a Saturday afternoon. It's about the coolest place in town.
No, like it's amazing.
It's a long way to the shop if you want a sausage roll, which is what I just had for lunch. Better watch my speed. Ooh. Flat left rear. What's his name?
Kenny.
Kenny.
Yeah.
Hello, Kenny.
I've got 9 of them.
Have you really?
Yep.
Are they all Joey's at it? Yeah.
They eat the parents here, you see.
Yeah, okay.
They eat a lot of kangaroo, and I end up with the babies.
How old do you reckon he is?
I've had him 4 months, and he was just had fur, and I didn't think he was going to survive, but he has. He's survived beautifully.
Yeah, he looks pretty healthy to me.
Oh yes.
I'm off to the Plenty Highway. and indeed Tobermory Station. Well, that was brilliant. I've wanted to come here for many years, and Pam was very accommodating. She says it's 39.5 degrees at the moment, and that I'm the first traveller they've had through in 3 weeks. So that was nice. She's from Victoria originally, been here for 7 years, and she says the only place she's going to is Boot Hill, up behind the pub here.
Rattle gun. Oh. I'll bring rattle gun out. I'll spin around and sit next to it. Yeah.
Put it in the shade.
Got the trolley, Jack? Yeah, that'd be better. You've only got the lift ones, haven't you? Yeah, they're...
Oh dear, she's a character. She's responsible for all these bonnets. Pam. Wong, he didn't make it. Just talking to the young copper there. He's based at Dajarra. Very cool. Because this, I should have mentioned this, there was 2,400 population in the 20s and 30s here. So all this area used to have infrastructure on it. Well, that's the last flag I thought I'd find in the cemetery here at Urandangi. Alrighty, so let's get on the road. First thing I suppose we'll do is get to the border, Northern Territory, then down to the Plenty, then the Tobermory Station. The mighty Georgina River. It has its own beauty. That's looking back towards Urandangi. That pub's just over the back there. She's been dry here for a while, a very long time. Well, since I left Brisbane on Wednesday, it's 2,055 kilometres. Just left from, driven all the way over Queensland basically, one side to another, and now I'm into the Northern Territory. First time in 7 years. Well, I jumped out to take my photo next to the sign and got back in and immediately almost got bogged. It was like flour, the surface of the road, and that's what Dodgies did say back at Dajarra. This is what I'm talking about. It's just real boggy, fine soil. You have to go around the outside, a rack, and plenty of room out there. Someone's already tried it. Well, I'm not taking any chances. Put it in 4-wheel drive. Just suddenly find yourself in trouble and wheel spinning. 90% of the time it's no problems, and then all of a sudden you're in a whole world of trouble. Keeps life interesting. Well, that was a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. Just really a doddle. A couple of times I had to go off road and bog down a bit, but absolutely no dramas whatsoever other than that. And here we are, the Plenty Highway. Arthur River. There's no water in the Arthur River. I'm pretty confident about that. And I'm also pretty confident about how it won't be raining this evening. It's quite a wide expanse actually. Sunday, November 8, 2015. It's about 6:10 Northern Territory time. Plenty Highway Camp, about 170 kilometres west of the border, and that is the sunrise. The moon's partly obscured by cloud, a little bit of wispy cloud, nothing to speak of. Magnificent, I'm sure you'll agree. had a bit of a problem with the deep cell battery. The inverter wasn't happy with the amount of charge and turned my sleep machine off on me, so I put it on the main battery. Cross fingers, it'll start. It should do. When you're out in the middle of nowhere, and I mean the middle of nowhere, and there's no one else around, it does cross your mind that it might not start. It'll be right. I'll give it a shot. I knew there'd be no doubt at all. Well, not much doubt anyway. Okie dokie, just for posterity's sake, I camped 160 kilometres from the Tobermory station, so that was the turn off from the Urandangi road onto the Plenty, 160 k's west of that. And the area is dotted with termite mounds, have been for a little while now, admittedly. And today we head over to the Jervois and then Hart Ranges towards the Stewart Highway Blacktop, and then down to Alice Springs about lunchtime. It's about 5 to 7 Northern Territory time. I assume they're on daylight saving. No doubt I got some paraphernalia in here somewhere that'll tell me that, but I'm not too worried if they are. They aren't. Either it's 5 to 6 or 5 to 7. Let's do it. Termite Mounds, case in point. Another one up ahead. They are remarkable little buggers, aren't they? Jeez, look at the size of this bastard. I'll have to get a photo. Looks like others have done the same by the wheel tracks. Goodness gracious. I'll tell you what, I've seen some biggies before, especially up in the Pilbara, but this one gets the chocolates. Absolutely. Oh. That's the entrance to the Jervois station, homestead. There's camping facilities, fuel, all sorts of stuff down there. That's exactly 52 kilometres from where I camped last night. I don't need to go down there because I got everything. There's some more camping facilities in there, but the ones at the station are, it's irrigated, it's got grass and that sort of stuff. This is the Marshall River. If I was making a film like Dad does, then I'd go into the station and have a look, but I know, as I said, I don't need anything. I've seen the photos and I've got to do some distance. Got to get some distance done. And it's only 20 to 8, probably no one up, and I'm the only one that's out here. That's assuming there's daylight saving. It could only be 20 to 7. Plenty River and the Plenty Ranges on the Plenty Highway. Plenty. Plenty of flies, plenty of dust. Just out of the Plenty River, this is about as red and dirty as I've ever come across. Just all of a sudden was a sensory assault to my eyes. I don't know if it's going to come across properly on the camera, but anyway, just what I'm sort of feeling at the moment. Well, it's time for breakfast. I've got about 115 k's down the track. Pretty old lonely place to be buried, isn't it? Crunchy for later. I'll dig out my Tamar Valley, precious Tamar Valley yogurt. So the plan is to keep going. We've got about, what's that? About 280 kilometres to get to Alice Springs. We're about 220 from the Blacktop, the Stewart Highway. get down to Alice, have a poke around this afternoon. Should be in Alice by lunchtime, and have a bit of a look around there this afternoon. I've never been to Alice, so looking forward to that. And then tomorrow morning up early, very early, at about 440 clicks to Uluru, get a photo of the rock. Been there before, so not going to hang around too much. It's a rorting there too. It's just everything's as wound up as tight as a drum as far as the all the facilities and everything goes. It's very expensive. And then out the other side on the Great Central Road down to Docker River, and hope to get to Giles or Warrakuna tomorrow night. That's the plan anyway, but we'll see. I stopped here to take a photo of this sign because I thought it's pretty cool right there. Tobermory basically being the Queensland border. I get out of the car and bugger me, another vehicle comes along, and he's thinking to himself, hey, who's this city slicker out here? This is Travis. Travis, you're the manager of Kata, the station here.
Yeah, mate, yep.
And you're from Chinchilla in Queensland?
Originally, yeah, I haven't been there for a long time, mate.
That's right, and you've been here 8 months?
Yeah, mate, yep.
And you got a 3-year contract?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
And you got 6 kids?
6 kids, yeah.
And the missus is from Alice Springs?
Yep.
And they're loving it out here?
Yep, that's right. This is home, mate. This is home.
It's good, mate, it's good. Hey, what's going on with this weather this morning? It's quite mild.
Yeah, it is. It's a nice morning, actually.
Really?
Nice if it stayed like this all day.
It's going to warm
But
up.
it won't.
No. The sun will burn the clouds off, I gather, and it'll just be like all the other days.
Yeah.
Mate, about 50 k's back, it looked like it had been raining.
Yeah, we had 12 millimetre about 3 nights ago.
Right, that'd be what it was then.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, mate, good talking to you.
No worries, mate. Catch you around.
Enjoy your Sunday, eh?
I will. I'm going to do some work.
And how about just tell the fans at home, you got a turbo diesel 80 series like I have.
Yeah, mate. Best cars ever invented, mate. That's right. Don't buy one of these, all right?
Right.
Honey pits, these bloody.
That's a turbo diesel as well?
8.
Right, okay. Yeah. But the 80s, you can't go past the 80 series.
That's right, mate. I should reinvent them again. I'm going to go.
Good on you, Travis.
See you,
Thanks,
mate.
buddy.
Yeah.
Hell of a nice bloke, but as he said, he's working today. In fact, he works every day. And then obviously his pet cow's going to have a look. Kata. Alrighty, time to keep going. Whoop. They're only new, those ones, they're only young blokes. Well, about a kilometre back I came across 2 Aboriginal women just walking along the road. They weren't after a lift or anything. And I assume this is their vehicle. What the hell they've done there is anybody's guess. Where's the Hearts Range Cop Shop? There's no mention of that at all in any of my writings on the area. There you go. Just 5 kilometres of the plenty, and this is what they're doing here. So it makes one wonder how far east they're going to do. I've been thinking about when eventually they bitumise it all the way to Queensland and beyond. I suppose just like the Great Central Road in Northern Territory and WA. It's only a matter of time, but as to when that'll be, who knows?
Wobbles down towards mid-up.
Consider myself having nailed the Plenty Highway, 2015 style.
I think they mentioned the Adelaide Oval city in Dajarra. Players are off the ground because it's raining and the New Zealand one.
Good old Alice Springs. My first time here. South of town here. Right next to town, I mean. Fantastic. This is the Todd River, which occasionally does overflow this road, apparently. Hard to believe at the moment, isn't it? Well, I parked up and went into town here. The mall, the Todd Street Mall, has a market.
Approaching left turn, Wills Terrace.
Has a market on Sundays, So I had to wander through there. All very interesting. Just looking for the Transport Museum and came across all these old trucks, and well, yeah, they're all trucks, aren't they? A whole lot of them. Brilliant. Just love stuff like that. Ah, yes. Ah, yes. Goodness me. You only see these things on film these days. That looks just like a bus that I used to own way back in the day. Oh, I love this setup. Good old coaches. This one dates from 1985 and was donated to the museum. All the gear and the coach were donated to the museum by Lance Grender's family after he passed away in 2006. It's been a magnificent display. I'm thoroughly enjoying wandering around. Got it to myself too, if you haven't noticed. Ah, yes. Give me a drive. Love the old buses. And then there's another shed round the back I didn't realise was here. This is the road trains. Sensational. Little Bertha here's got an old American wagon on the back. I can't identify it. I think it's a Chrysler, but I could be wrong. Could be a Ford. Ford liked their wagons in the early 70s. Big Mack truck. It's a cruise liner. More Max. Oh, that's a good one. 1970s. BJ and the Bear type stuff, isn't it? Ah, yes. 50s, early 60s. A lot of these things look, these Scanias anyway, well, a lot of them look very roadworthy. Roger Goss from Esperance. Let's go and look at the Kennys. Baby, that's going to look real good on the big screen in full glorious HD. When we were kids and we were mad keen on trucks and American trucking shows, Kenworth was the thing to have. That one's actually new, it's a 2014. A bit of gear. This one's an 08. $1976, we're gonna convoy. $1977. And 1973. Only just retired. 2003. They got their styling a little wrong then, I believe. Love the colour of that. Back into the main shed at the front, and it gets even better. Upstairs, American touring cars. 1928 Dodge Roadster. That one there's a Chevy Packard. God, what that'd be worth. Extra long, the Packard, like the Cadillacs were of the day. T-model Ford. It's a runabout, that one. Right at the end of the production run. 17 million they sold. And the token British vehicle, the Rolls Royce. 195 kilometres south of Alice Springs on the Stuart Highway is Urandangi, I think is how you pronounce it. Now we're about to leave the Stuart Highway for 2015. Oh, it's a nice flash modern roadhouse. Haven't seen too many of them since, well, middle of Queensland probably. Oh, there's a motel there, but it's only 5 PM. So I'm going to keep on trucking. Lasseter Highway. And I head west once again. 3,000 k's since Brisbane. I can't remember where I was now with 2,000, but I remember doing something with a video. About 100 kilometres from Yulara, and it's 25 past 6 in the PM. Just be interested to see how much they smash me for the campsite there for the night. $42 for the powered site was the answer as to what they'd sting me, and this isn't something you associate with Uluru, Yulara, Ayres Rock in November. Rain, had a bit of rain last night and a lot of wind. Go figure. 7 AM Monday, November 9. We've packed up the camp and we'll see what the go is up here. There's a little monolith up there. Let's have a quick look at on the way through. Literally it's on the way past from Perth to Brisbane. 25 bucks to get in my case. It's a toll road, purely just to get through, but I mean if you're here you're going to have a look, aren't you? It is an impressive sight. It's the second time I've been here. I was here 9 years ago. Well, I've had my fun here at Uluru again. 2006 and now 2015. It's probably going to be another 9 years till I get back, to be honest. Got to go through the desert again, through the Peterman Ranges, through the Warburton Ranges, Gibson's Desert to home. A couple of 1,000 kilometres, but at least 1,000 of that's unsealed. So let's do it, let's bring it on. And I present the Olgas. That's pretty cool right there. Okay, just turn left at the border, back on the unsealed stuff, the gravel. Time to do tyre pressures. It's quiet. Too quiet. Well, we're only about 30 kilometres in, and it's been an interesting old ride, that's for sure. The speed limit signs by the side of the road say 110. Which is all very well, but you get on these gibbers and things and some corrugations and the bloody thing's slithering around. Anyway, the corrugations just got worse and worse, and then the grader's been along just to a grade 1 line here, which has been really good. But I was doing 100 before, but that's not possible at the moment. We'll battle on. Another 70 kilometres and that's the Peterman Ranges up ahead. This is wet. This road was wet last time I came out here in 06, but that was in bloody June. It's supposed to be wet in June. November 9 today. Anyway, the countryside is gorgeous. It's Monday morning, everyone else is at work. I've returned to Lasseter's cave, Harold Bell Lasseter. It's a famous story. What good a reef worth millions, I would give it all for a loaf of bread. A visually stimulating spot on a mild November day, right on the river here. Basically the story is this, that as a young man in the late 1890s, he was about 18 or 19, Harold Bell Lasseter claimed to have found a reef of gold out somewhere in these parts. But of course he then left. He went back to civilization with some gold samples, but he could never raise the finance or the interest to come back out here. It wasn't until 1930, late in 1930, he amassed a search party, and they came back out and went all around the area, and basically he was unsuccessful, and the people that he was with gave up, and they left. They went back towards Alice Springs, and he wouldn't give up, so he kept a few camels and some provisions, and about 15 kilometres from here to the west, the camels bolted, and he was left with about 2 litres. Well, he was left with some water, but not much, and he made his way here, where he was befriended by some local Aboriginals who gave him water, and he stayed, and food, basic food, and he stayed in this cave for 25 days. And from here, after that period, he decided to try to walk the 140 kilometres, assisted by some Aboriginals, back to the Olgas, where he'd hoped to meet up with this expedition, this other party that I can't remember the full story as to why he thought they'd be over there. He got 44 kilometres back east and perished, died of thirst basically. So Lasseter's Reef is still out here somewhere, if it did exist in the first place. Well, since that last video entry, the amount of water on the road is unbelievable. I'm actually very fortunate that the road's open. That's the welcome to WA sign under there. Oh dear. Welcome back to WA. Home again. You can say that, but still a long way from Perth. Just got to heat up my lunch because I don't fancy getting any at Warburton Giles. Look at how much water's around. This has been the case now for hundreds of kilometres. This one here though, this is a river. I just didn't expect it. God, there's all sorts of noises from. You can't see them. I have not seen an animal all day. The hell's that? Bloody hell. It's getting louder. About 20 k's further up the road. That was interesting because it was a fair bit deeper than what I thought it was going to be. My fault for not wading through it, I suppose, but I was okay in the end, don't get me wrong, but yeah, gave the bottom of the old 80 a bit of a wash, which is what it needed. This is starting to get a bit old. I mean, this is easy, this one, don't get me wrong, but there's water all over the road everywhere now. Well, I've come to the turn off for Warburton Giles, and look at that little sign. That was the sign we saw for 3 days here in 2006. We got marooned in here. We couldn't move. As I keep saying, that was in the middle of winter. Now I don't really want to go into Giles because I don't really need anything anyway, but they might not let me go on. And I'm just going to... Well, the road was open from the other way, wasn't it? Like, I haven't broken any bloody laws, but I'm just worried now that maybe this... I don't know. Christ, I'll go over here and see. Well, there was another sign the same for the other side. Warburton is just a bit off the road. There's two entrances, one from the east, one from the west. Again, though, it was pointed the other way, so for traffic going east. But I haven't seen anything going this way, so I'm not going into Giles to risk it. I was only going to go in there for old time's sake. I'm going to get out of Dodge City. I'm going to get down the road. I'm getting to Warburton. I'm all right for fuel, so I'll just keep going. Geez, the last thing I want to do is get stuck in Giles again, especially in November. It's that bloody hot outside. It's one thing in June. Anyway, keep on trucking. 100 k's down the road, there is a storm front coming. I'm trying to outdo it. It's sort of, I think it's going southeast, hopefully, which is back that way. Fuck this, I tell you what, I'm never coming back out here. Every time I come here it rains. All you do is read about how dry it is. That's all bullshit. Look how green everything is. I know I'm going to get stopped down in Warburton, but it's a first world problem, I will admit. About 540 k's from Yulara, this is Warburton Roadhouse. I've stayed here back in the day. Similar weather to this too. Guess who's not getting fuel at Warburton? Well, I'm going to press on. I've got, there's not too much left in the main tank, but I've got the subby there, which is worth about 350 k's. Too wet and miserable to be setting up camp. Anyway, it's only 20 past 3 Northern Territory time, which means, shit, I can't work out what time it is here. Before 3 anyway, WA, Central WA time. Look, we'll just push on for a bit longer. Worst comes to worst, I'll sleep in the car at the next roadhouse down here, which is about 250 k's away. That's assuming they haven't got any power either. If I can't get any diesel there, I'm in trouble. Well, it's been a pretty good road. We're about 60 k's out of the roadhouse. It starts with T that I can't pronounce. It's 5:45 Northern Territory time. I don't know what time it is here, but no, it's been a ripping road, this one. So it was sealed for about 20 k's and then it's been unsealed since. Ball bearing type surface, but it's pretty bloody smooth, and the cloud formations have been fantastic. It stopped raining at Warburton, actually. It didn't rain after Warburton, so it looks like it might up ahead though, doesn't it? Seeing another vehicle coming the other way in the last 3 days has been a very rare thing. Always knew it would be. The Tjukayirla, or whatever. I'm facing east again because I flew past it. It's down here. Lights are on, that's something. Hope somebody's home. Hope got some diesel, otherwise I'm in a whole world of trouble. Well, indeed, I got my diesel at $2 a litre at the unpronounceable roadhouse name, just down 260 kilometres west of Warburton. Got myself an unpowered site. That was okay, that was $20. It's got plenty of amenities. There's 1,300 kilometres from here to home via Kalgoorlie, and with that sort of carrot at the end, I can't see myself, unless I'm really tired, I can't see myself stopping between Kalgoorlie and home. So 1300 is no problem. I've done that before. But when you get up early and you go and you've got a mission, I think it's the best thing to do. November 10, 2015, and this is the Tjukayirla Roadhouse. We'll have a go at that one. Oh, I promised myself I wasn't going to try. So obviously this is where I stayed last night, through the back there. Day 60 and final day of road trip Oz 15, possibly. I hope to get home tonight. 1300 kilometres from here. Let's do it. Well, I left at 5:23, so 2 hours in. I've done 191 k's. The road has been reasonably good, but in patches it's been terrible. It's a wintry sort of day. I reckon it's about 18 or 19 degrees. It's early in the morning, and there's a bit of drizzle around. But that's okay. The old girl doesn't mind the cooler weather. And it's time for my breakfast, which consists of my Tasmanian Tamar Valley yogurt purchased from Brisbane and my iced coffee from Alice Springs. Alright, let's do it. Leonora's the next one. In fact, it's not, it's Laverton. It's about 120 clicks away. Some 1,030 kilometres since the Olgas, and we hit the blacktop again. Dung dung, and there it is. Great Central Road. Been there, done that. But more significantly than the completion of the Great Central Road is the completion of the Outback Way, all the way from Boulia in Queensland to here in Laverton, Western Australia. I haven't got the distance on my head right at this moment, but it's a bloody long way, well over 2,000 kilometres. And I'm delighted, quite proud to say that I've done that. That's a big bird, big eagle. I don't know what sort, but his wingspan was out just then, trying to drag this fox off the road. Oh yes. He's coming straight back there for it as soon as I've disappeared. Good old Leonora and the Grand Hotel. I stayed in there in 2006. Anyway, it's got a reputation for being a very tidy little town, and that's what it was in 06 and still is. Spun around, put some juice in, just put 20 litres in just to make sure that I get the cow. And we're on our way, 235. It's 10 AM, it was 10:15 actually. I got passed by a P-plater just coming out of Roma in Queensland about 3,500 kilometres ago. I remember because he was being a dickhead passing on double white lines. That was the last time I got overtaken, and that was last Wednesday. No shit, and it's today's Tuesday. Not because I've been going particularly quick, just because that's how many vehicles I've seen on this side of the road heading west in November. People just don't do it generally, and the ones that do, they're not going that quickly. So I've done the overtaking when it's occurred. Historic Menzies, Western Australia. I don't know if it was named after our longest serving Prime Minister. I hope not. As the years go by, history treats that particular Prime Minister less kindly. Because Menzies, the town's been around a lot longer than old Bob. We'll have to find out, won't I? Well, 8 weeks later, since Dad and I left here, I returned to Kalgoorlie, and there's the Exchange Hotel. Went partying in Kalgoorlie. The big man always uses the Exchange Hotel. Just got to fuel up, get something to eat, get some provisions, and then go. Beautiful downtown Coolgardie. We go through here so often these days that I don't even really know why I'm filming. Good amenities in town there. Local council provide. And we're going to probably not be a lot of film for the rest of the trip because we've done this road so often. Everyone's going, thank God for that, just get it over with. Over and out, 600 to go. Almost home as I turn onto Marmion Avenue. I thought I'd just do some stats today, just today, from the unpronounceable roadhouse. 1,275 kilometres. 7 days it's taken me to get back from Brisbane. That's 5,182 kilometres. The big man is back.
He is indeed. Hello.
It's good to be home.
Good to have you home.
Oh dear, yeah, it's been a big day.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Been a very big day.
You're not wrong.